Okay, we are live, Mona. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Jeanette. What did you do with the weather?
I've kind of froze. I don't know. I'm kind of chilly even right now. It's kind of like so frustrating to have such great weather last week
I
and
know
then
it's
to have
beautiful.
this week, then
Yeah,
just freeze our butts off this week. It's like, come on,
what's
who's playing a trick on us?
yeah, what's going on? Tico just want our money. That's what it
What
is.
do you think Tico wants our money? That's why I
Mm-hmm.
said, I said, Miss Patterson, don't you turn on that heater? Nope, nope, nope. But what you can do, you know that those little heaters we also have, go in your room. Just go in your room and warm yourself up. But Tico is not getting any more of my money.
As I don't need the air, I do need the heat. And last month bill, it was a shocker. And I don't get shocker bills because my bills are, generally really nice. But when we
Mhm.
went through that cold freeze, I was like, what? Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, it was
We
ridiculous.
got a good show tonight.
Yes, we do. We have a great show tonight. We connect two conversations that aren't separate, rewriting slavery in America and the targeting of Black power in real time. So we're looking at, and I'm looking at something just a little bit different. So you're probably saying, where's she reading from? Where's she getting that from? Um, I'm maneuvering since I was looking for those things. But folks, I just want you to know it's going to be a great show tonight. So stay tuned. Um, and share, and we will be back
To the
momentarily.
Black Independent, where we speak truth to power, unapologetically.
For too long, the black vote has been treated like a given, but we're not property. We're not pawns. We are the descendants of those who built this nation. And now, we're demanding tangibles, not tokenism, because the era of blind loyalty is over. This is the Black Independent. Let's get to work.
Let's get to work. Um,
Right.
it's time. Yep, time to get to work. So, are we getting right into the segment?
We're gonna jump right into it. We're not gonna
Yeah.
do.
I'm
Um,
like, your format is chop, chop, chop.
yes, it was a little.
Listen. I was about to rest my head on my like that,
Uh,
and I got some feedback from my dear friend. He said, "Get your hands out your face. Get your hands out your face." So
oh,
I'm going to be working on.
I'm trying not to do that.
You don't do it as much as I do it, and but I
I do.
noticed that
I mostly do
I've
this
seen you
or
do
this.
that. I've seen
I
you do
mostly.
that,
Mhm.
but I
It's
literally lay into my fist and stay there for a while. So, um,
well. So
folks, we're going to be. Go ahead.
growing up, my aunt, who's always like a second mother, I might do like this, but they never wanted you to do this. Have
Hmm.
your hands in your face. Get your hands out your face, and I'm like, for the life of me, I still don't know what difference that make, but I do try to be conscious of it.
Well, getting your hands out of your face too, certainly, especially as you're young and you're growing up, you've got oil on your fingers all the time, and you're just putting your dirty hands on your face and blah blah blah. So I do remember growing up to get your hands out of your face.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Um,
and it sticks in the back of my head because my people they didn't just tell you stuff; they drilled it. Okay.
yeah, totally. I think black people did do that. They
Yeah,
did that. So
yeah.
when Dawn with two N's gave me that feedback, I was like, "You're right, Dawn. You're right.
Okay.
I need to
Okay.
be conscious of." So we got that feedback, and by all means, you guys, we don't mind getting feedback on the show. We
Yeah,
really want
absolutely.
to. Um, improve the show as much as we possibly can. And you will also notice I didn't do the countdown.
Yes.
And just like what you've prepared for tonight, it seems to be chop, chop, chop. The countdown is just like, okay. And I didn't have the teaser in front of me, so I was like making it up. But I like the chop, chop, choppiness, because we're just moving from one subject to the next, and I think that makes sense. And I kind of like not having the countdown. Your thoughts?
And we're gonna, I don't know. We'll see how it feels. We're just seeing how it flows.
Yeah. So you'll be seeing some changes here and there, but for the most part, again, we're in it for the long haul, and we really want to make this thing work and make it sustainable, which is another word the kids learned today: sustainability.
Sustainability.
So we gotta
go ahead.
We got a clip.
Tee it up.
And I haven't seen it, so I'm going to be watching it as we go. Oops, see how I put my hand in my ear? Didn't even need to do that, folks. Let's see. So let me grab the clip. It looks like really good because I really absolutely love Justin Pearson, the state rep in Tennessee. He is on point. Ready?
Ready.
Ooh, why don't I hear him? He's all right. Here we go.
This is State Representative Justin Pearson needed to fact check Representative Michelle Renault after she used the Bible to literally justify the founding fathers being slave owners. They shouldn't be judged because slavery was normalized during their time. Here is the verbal lashing she received from a descendant of a slave.
Representative Renault.
Thank you for the question. As far as our founding fathers and those that owned slavery, it is important not to dilute history. We need to understand and know what that is so that we don't repeat those mistakes. But the Bible also says that we will be judged in the time of our culture. And at that time, it was a common practice. Not saying that's right or wrong. The Bible actually does instruct those who do own slaves on how to treat them and to treat them fairly and kindly. But our founding fathers definitely believe that all men were created equal, and it was those beliefs that moved us from the position of slavery to where we are today. So this particular legislation does not advocate to teach those things. I think we have many other pieces of the education that likely does include that, but this intention for this legislation is for that to not necessarily be included.
Representative Pearson.
There's one major difference between a talk that gets 4,000 views versus a talk that gets 4 million views. And it's not what you think. This is something no one in the speaking world ever talks about. And this is like the thing that led to me speaking at the United Nations 4 times in front of 10,000.
It is nearly unconscionable to believe that you just articulated the theological vision of enslavers in this Capitol in the year 2026
like that,
as though it was okay. Because here's your problem. The Bible, which was written in many different iterations, but is articulating a time of thousands of years ago, was used as justification for enslavement that happened thousands of years later, 400 years ago in our country. And so even if you're trying to articulate, as you are incorrectly, that the Bible was somehow giving permission to slavery, that would have been in the era in which it was happening. It wouldn't be used as a theological justification just 400 years ago in our nation's history. But what is worse, and what is deeply disturbing by what you have just said, is not how you are saying, and that was wrong or immoral. There is no question that slavery was immoral. And you shouldn't need a Bible to know that. And there were always people who were antithetical to the antebellum South's iteration of chattel slavery. The people who were enslaved, who were kidnapped from the continent of Africa and brought here against their will. And I am a Christian. And I am a 7th-generation Tennessean. I have read the Bible from front to back, and the stories about love, about who Christ is, about loving thy neighbor and loving God is what we are told to profess. So anyone who misused the Bible to enslave people, misuse the Bible to keep people in bondage, they were wrong then as you are wrong now. I refuse to support this legislation because the lens by which you are viewing the world is toxic, is damning, is wrong, and is immoral. And you, my fellow colleagues, should do much more work in understanding the history of this country and understanding the history of enslavement and the consequences that it continues to wreak and the barriers it continues to create in this state and around the country. No one should ever be able to use Christianity as justification for the enslavement of people, especially not someone who has the audacity to call themselves a legislator.
Oh, that wasn't just it. State Rep Sam McKenzie also fact-checked her after she falsely said that all men are created equal, that it applied to slaves when the Declaration of Independence was written. Yo, seriously. Press play.
And I like his statement as well.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Was that a lie? And are we going to teach that?
Representative Renaud.
No, that is not a lie. And it's that the founders believe that so much that they put that into our founding documents. At the time, and you'll remember history, that it took many hundreds of years to be able to rectify what our culture at that time. But putting those words into the documents is what allowed us to move forward. Unfortunately, it inched. It wasn't an immediate change, but those words ring true still today. And it's the progress that we have made as a culture and the values that America was founded on have allowed us to move forward and to be able to recognize that all men are created equal.
Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm a black man. And the person that had me during those times was a black man. When historically accurate, not cultures and evolution and how things evolved, but historically accurate, that was a lie.
Hello.
My forefather was not treated equally, was not considered to be a man. So for you to say we're going to have this historically accurate teaching and not teach that is just flat wrong. Historically accurately means when they put pen to paper, they said all. They did not mean all. That's all. They did not mean all. So if we're going to do this historically accurately, let's do it. If we're not, if we're going to be able to pick and choose, then that's not the way we should teach. And say that this is now a historically accurate statement since we've evolved and we've got better and we've understood the mistakes of the past. The mistakes of the past says that my predecessor was not a man. So this is a lie. I love this country. I love the fact that our forefathers created, as Winston Churchill said, you know, democracy is horrible, but all of them the worst. All of them, the rest of them are worse. And I'm grossly paraphrasing that. But again, so that's not where I'm coming from. We have to accept that as African Americans that we were enslaved. We have to accept that and we have to move on and we have to make things better for us and the next generation. But for you to come here and say that we're going to teach something, we're going to now in 2026 teach something that's historically accurate and it doesn't touch on that. And you say that these are one of the things that we're going to teach.
I just wanted you to pause it for a minute because two things he said I couldn't let go by. First, you
Okay.
could almost see where he tried to make her feel a little comfortable when he started saying, I love America. He was stating his case. Keep stating your case. You don't have to say you love America. Doesn't matter whether you love America or not. We freaking are here. And so we understand it's our country. And he said something that we have to accept, that we was like, no, we accept that. We know that. That is something they have to accept. That is something they did. That is something their ancestors did.
So you're saying that he tried to soften it so that
we always try to make them feel
so that
comfortable.
they could be comfortable.
Because she felt comfortable. And I was trying to, what do you think her nationality is? Because she looked like she could be Chinese or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, she's Asian. I just don't know
Asian.
which.
Yeah, Asian. So dude, that is the one thing I don't like, particularly your brother. You didn't have to soften that up. It was nothing to soften. You want to finish it because the white guy that's coming behind him, I did like what he said.
Yeah, everybody, not everybody, but it has traditionally been our strategy to speak truth and then retreat a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
and I do understand why.
That has been the strategy.
I do understand why that is our strategy. But we got to move away from that. That was our strategy. Shouldn't be our strategy today, but we do know that was our grandparents, our ancestors, that was for survival.
It was, and we also use it. I don't believe our children will be using that strategy because you heard Justin early on.
Yes,
He's
right.
very straightforward. He doesn't mince words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think anything Justin said that was harsh, wrong. It was just what
fact
was factual truth. Yes,
it was
fact. And even what the Mackenzie was saying was the truth. You don't have to water it down, soften it up, because she had the nerve. She let them push her out to push this agenda. You should have said, no, I don't want to be the face of that. I don't want to be the face of that, because she knows it's a lie. She knows it's a lie what she's trying to push.
Yeah, I think she does know. I think you're absolutely right. All right, here we go.
On where other people might have been from a religious standpoint because of a statement that they made here or there. You're not going to be able to prove that they were active member of a church for a lot of them. You will not be able to prove that historically, because several of them probably had some things that they put in pen to paper that talked about their faith. But historically, you're not going to do that. But here we are having this conversation, and you're ignoring this gaping hole in the creation of our great country. It's got a problem with that. This is just flat out not. It's not the way to teach historically accurate information. Either you teach it all, or we just move on and say that this time these documents are great documents. These are great documents that we want all our children to understand. But to say because some people have said that some of these were atheists, some of them not, we'll deal with that, but we're not going to deal with the gaping hole is wrong. You know, and my question to you is, on a whole different level, how many of the forefathers that signed these documents were immigrants, were first generation United States eventual citizens?
Representative Renaud.
First, to address your question about the factualness of the documents, if you would like to sponsor legislation to teach the aspects of slavery, I certainly would support you in that. But this legislation specifically is to teach the meaning of what the founders meant about our rights coming from a creator and not government, and then to dispel the myth that many of our founding fathers were, in fact, not atheist or deist. Even Benjamin Franklin was raised Presbyterian. He's known as our most secular founding father. He was perhaps religiously unorthodox, but he affirmed his belief in a providence. So when I said the legislation says moral belief, it is addressing moral belief in that regard, that maybe he didn't claim a certain denomination or religion, but he did in fact affirm a belief in providence, as many of his documents did state. There are among the 39 signers of the Constitution, a majority of them were Anglican and Episcopalian, but we had other Presbyterian, Congregationalists, Quakers, Methodists, one Catholic. But even those that were deist leaning did affirm or acknowledge providence, which we associate with the Creator.
The structure motorized pergola system is reinventing the way homeowners experience.
We'll stop it there. We'll put that in the description if someone wants to find it. I'll look at it. What do you think about that video? And particularly when they say moral belief. And we know these people had no morals, no standards. And I'm going to say, you know, I'm going to always refer back to them as the super predators. And you know, that's going to stick with me since Hillary Clinton said it.
Yeah.
And
since she said what?
So you remember when she called us a super predator?
Yeah.
And but they want to tie American chattel slavery to slavery in the Bible, and we know it is no comparison.
Right.
What happened here and what happened in the Bible. And
Right.
I don't even understand sometimes, because like me, I have I would say I have somewhat evolved, and I look at the Bible as a allegory, right? A
Really?
story. Yeah, a story. And it's becoming a little bit of proof that a lot of this stuff just did not happen. It is, we've done all this evil and will continue to do, even the war and what's going on in Israel. Some Roman Catholic wrote this stuff up. And
That
the
is
amount
true.
of evil that we could do in the name of God or Jesus or whoever they call
Mm-hmm.
God. And some kind of way, before we destroy the world, we're going to have to really say, and it's good things, it's good books, it's good morals, and it, you know, even if these people will even just follow those, it's good things to live by in the Bible. But hell, I don't know any of them that do that.
Good things to live by in the Bible. The question is, what Bible, right? Which
Even
Bible? And are we talking about the King James? Are we talking about the Ethiopian Bible, where King James left out a whole lot of books? Are we talking about the slave Bible, where it was further decimated to make sure the enslaved stayed enslaved and obeyed and obedient, rather? So yes, I'm of the persuasion that there's some interesting stories, as you say, in the Bible that we grew up with. But I'd want to do some research or talk with someone who has done the research on the Ethiopian Bible and what that meant to the world at that time, and what does it say for where we are today.
so probably since 2013, when I really start thinking about all of this, and I just asked myself one question. If we were the first people on this world, on the earth,
And
right?
there seems to be consensus that was the case.
I'm about to say, I don't believe that to be true, particularly with a lot of our scholars. If we was the first people, and when did Jesus get here? Or when did God? I mean, Jesus will be what? Jesus, it was no
Remember,
religion, it was no
so
Christianity back then. It was no, our people were spiritual people. And then I'm going to tie this to something else. When the more research I do with the Epstein, and when I'm looking at this 1% and this secret society that they're
yeah,
in,
yep.
they're doing a lot of witchcraft. They're doing a lot of spiritual stuff. They're doing a lot of stuff that they said that our ancestors that they
Sacrificing
would use
folks.
to get rid of that voodoo, all of that is evil. But they're doing it.
Well,
It
they're
works.
claiming it's evil,
Yeah,
right? Right.
yeah,
hmm
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just that I think that we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna help move our people forward, and it can't be
Right.
with this Bible.
That's true, but we're so westernized. The Bible being the central, the central script from which we all take how we will live our lives. We are
Mhm.
so westernized that if you say that, you know what, I don't know, I might be agnostic. I don't know. And I'm just gonna say, can't, Christianity, I can't seem to accept the fact that I'm gonna have to wait till I go to the other side before I
Mhm.
can know things, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so that's always been a question for me. So when people ask, it's like, I don't really answer. But I don't
Mhm.
say I'm agnostic either, although generally I would say, you know what, I really don't know. I don't know. Well, you're gonna burn in hell. Well, I don't know that either.
And,
So
and
it's
they,
like, I don't
but
know.
they could tell you that they know these people know certain things because now I said, how do you know Jesus is one? I just believe. But they
Mhm.
definitely know if you don't believe, you're going to burn in hell. How you can know that?
And you don't know, yeah.
But you don't know
Yeah.
other stuff. And and
No
and rather
empirical evidence.
this all this make believe stuff is what I really am now seeing it as. But that is not where we want to go tonight. Talking about
Yeah,
the
I was gonna say, did you wanna go down this rabbit hole?
I did not. I never like to go down that particular rabbit hole. But since they brought it up, but what I do want to do is the first time I started hearing about they wanted to bring the Bibles into school, and I said,
Mm,
as African Americans, we have to be questioning that. I don't care if you're a Christian or not, but we have to question who and what they are teaching our children. Because for the most part, parents don't really pay attention to it. Because when they put these books out and when they start writing this new curriculum, particularly how they want to tell the
oh my
narrative
god,
now about
yeah,
slavery,
yeah,
And they and
right.
I heard somewhere in Florida, somewhere down South Florida, they want to say, and I think it was Byron Donaldson said that during slavery, we got a trade. We learned to trade. Our ancestors learned to trade. And I was like, well, who taught us to trade?
Yeah,
We figured
that was part of the Florida that was part of the Florida statute that was being written that we
yes,
benefited. Yeah.
yes, that you
Mhm.
benefited and that, we just all migrated here. We came and they want to whitewash this history and and I'm always going to go back to the Democratic Black Caucus because where are they on this stuff? Why aren't they fighting and pushing? They should be the loudest mouth and saying, no, we're not having this foolish this being taught to our kids. Now either you want to teach slavery or you don't. But if you're going to teach that part of history, you're going to have to teach it as it was, not as you would like it to have been. Now we could certainly say something like, yes, that is what it was. Here's the direction we're moving towards, you know?
Right, right. So to do that and be in politics or involved in politics, and I think about the Black Caucus here, the Black Caucus on the federal level, and what you just compared, where you just compared Justin with Representative Sam McKenzie and the way that they delivered those speeches. Black Caucus is more like Sam McKenzie.
Yes.
And the person that makes folks uncomfortable, let's say in the Democratic Black Caucus, can't lead it, they will not allow to lead it. And if we cannot figure out how to play nice, and play nice means that you soften everything so that you do not upset the majority. DNC is steeped in that kind of control over their Black voters.
And
Not
so
so
they're
much
going
voters,
to continue to be
voters,
ass,
but
they're going to continue to be ass kissers in 2026, particularly how we have seen this huge shift since Trump. And I like to say I could adjust my attitude according to yours. I could adjust my position according to yours. But to stay butt broke or something, when you see these people who have not let their foot off your neck, but now pulling the chain around your neck, and you still want to kiss their butts, come on. For what? Because America,
it's what we know. And so far, and so far, those who don't kiss but at least to a high enough extent to make them comfortable, don't progress. And in this day and age, especially if it's against Trump and his administration, you get your ass kicked. Ask Fani Willis.
Yeah, but look,
you got to be soft.
We're going to need someone who's going to be able to walk in it with their bike straight up, because America's slavery was a radical ownership, not labor. We were born into it, we died into it, and our children inherited. And that is just the fact.
It is the facts. Lynette shares. Hey, Lynette. You can't eat your cake and have it too. What has shrinking gotten us as a race? And that's probably it in a nutshell. 400 years later, and we're still looking around, trying to make sure that we don't fall back into slavery.
Right.
Of another name. Because they're going to, of course, polish it to make it become or seem like something else, but it likely will be a very 21st century type of slavery. I feel like that is coming. I was listening to one of the Arab leaders who put out a call to the other Arab leaders and pretty much stated the facts as to Netanyahu's intent to take over the region. And what he said was, dear Arab brothers, we have to unite. We have to see and pay attention to the facts. And we have to, in our own separate kingdoms, come together, or countries, come together and unite against this hostile takeover or intent to take over our land. Same thing for Black people.
Sure.
There has to be a cry for Black folks, in my opinion, the diaspora, to understand that this is not just about the United States. We are not the only ones being impacted. There is a realignment going on right now. It's not just about the next election. It's about much more than that, because even if the Democrats win, can you trust the Democrats to ensure in the new realignment that you will have a say in what happens going forward? To your point earlier, and I will say this, the only reason the United States has a democracy today, let me do this, a democracy today. The only reason we think we have a democracy is because Black people, just like Pearson and McKenzie in Tennessee, because we stand up, we push back, and we fight for the rights. And when we fight for our rights, by extension, it really does help everybody else, because we are the ones that are pushing the people in power to make sure that everyone is treated equally. And it's been a hard fight. If we were not fighting, who would be fighting?
Right.
The women,
Right.
white women, white women. You heard Daryl Hyde today.
Oh, that was powerful, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was like, in your face. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something here.
Yes.
Great.
Which is all true. All we have done from the time we got here was to help them succeed, benefit, and then not even a hand to say, come along.
Yep.
Always not.
Everything everybody has. Everything everybody has, including poor white folk or middle-class white folk, is because of the push from Black folks.
Yeah.
Why am I hearing myself echo?
And I don't know. I don't hear you. Say it again.
I'm asking why I hear myself echo.
Well, we don't hear it on this end. I don't hear it.
Okay.
Mhm. But we see you see how they like to use the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I would submit to you the people at the top, the people who are running it, particularly the billionaires, from all I'm seeing, that they're not there. They don't believe anything in that Bible. They know the Bible is man constructed. They don't live by the Bible, but the Bible has been put there to control the masses.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You can't hear me echo?
No. As we got two people watching. You guys put a check if you hear her echo.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that I don't have anything else on.
Can someone put a check in the comment if you hear
Testing
it?
1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, all of a sudden I'm good.
You good? Yeah, I don't hear it.
Yeah, I'm good now. I don't know.
I do hear your TV in the background.
B, I don't want you to hear that television in the background. Hold on. Somebody needs to put on their hearing aids.
Oh, well, see now if that was Mom, I just thought you left it on.
No, that was her. It was like, Mom, can you put on the hearing aids, please?
I'm not gonna sit here for 2 hours while you guys and I can't listen to my show.
All right, Lynette, it said there was no echo, so yep, thank you.
Yeah,
so yeah.
You know, and it reminded me of something else too when I was looking. I was watching a video of Tucker Carlson and Huckabee. And Huckabee said, Tucker was asking him, why did he think that Israel, that land was, they had the right to it. And of course, they go back to the Bible, and God said that that was going to be. And Tucker Carlson said, so are you saying that all of the Middle East, if Israel wanted, they should be entitled to it? Yeah. And Huckabee basically said yes. And I said, so with the people on it, and it just came to me, it's almost like America, but I'm sure they did that all over these European white people, doing that all over the world, just going on people's land, taking it, killing the people. It's what we did here. And that's how, because you have to think someone like Trump and the people that's in our administration, even if Israel wanted that these people who call themselves Christians would be okay with killing the people, like they're killing them to occupy their land.
Yeah.
That kind of behavior, that whatever that is, that kind of evilness is just not in our DNA. It's just not.
I truly believe that that is the case. And when people ask, well, if we built civilizations and had all of this wonderful gold and all of these resources, how did we lose it?
Right.
That's the question. And this was over, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of years. It was over time because they were migrating out, Black people, and because of the climate, they sort of acclimated to the climate and ended up with blonde hair and blue eyes and whatever other machinations happened over, I don't know, is it millions of years? Well, we stayed put, right? We stayed put. So we were no longer trying to master the land, man against nature. We pretty much understood at some point how to live in it with nature. We aligned with nature. And if we were no longer fighting nature because there was an understanding of nature in the African lands, because we were not migrating, there was no snow, there were no, you know what I'm saying? We got it, but they didn't. They were still in survival mode for thousands and thousands of years. They were still in survival mode, but we weren't. We were now in a position to begin innovating and living or cohabitating with each other in a very cooperative manner that allowed us to innovate and to begin really taking advantage of the land with regard to its resources, and then building and all of those wonderful things and living relatively cooperatively, right? I truly believe that that is as simple an explanation as we can, that it's inbred, it's bred into us to live cooperatively and to innovate. And they know this. But for them, they spent thousands of years trying to conquer land that they didn't understand, or the terrain, or even the animal life. And
but that spirit.
Right. And then they were trying to survive. So it was man against, so we were doing man against nature, and they were doing man against man.
Yeah,
and
but the spirit
so they were fighting
that
each
we
other.
had allowed us to be manipulated, and a lot of us are still falling for it.
Yeah. We are, because we're not inherently evil people we want to live in cooperation. I truly believe, even when I listen to some of the politicians, and we want to live in cooperation. They do not. We're about community. They are about individualism and capitalism. It's as plain as that. The way that they see the world, and some of us go and adopt that, but that's not who we are. So they have to work real hard to try to fit into, it's like a square peg in a round hole. When I see Republicans trying so hard to out Republican the blah, blah, black Republicans, trying to out Republican the white Republicans, it's like you don't belong there. You know that you don't belong there, but you feel like you want to align yourself with power, and power is about individualism. It's about taking. Look at the history. They have been taking and taking and taking. Everywhere they went, they have been taking. That is not who we are. Not even to this.
Slaughtering, plundering. Yeah, it's just bad.
I mean, look at Africa, right? Yeah, just look at Africa. They want the resources in Africa. So they create all that chaos in Africa. They then adopt some of those black Africans as you're our man, blah, blah, blah. We're going to put you in power. And as long as we are, you're in power, you're our guy. And then they treat their African brothers and sisters really badly because they allow America, France, what have you, or England to come in and pillage the resources. And they killed the Traores of the world, or I forgot his name.
And then end up killing their black asses for not being smart enough. I mean, I don't know how you could keep falling for that. But we're going to move on to the next one. But we do know here in America, I was thinking that they're not really denying slavery. They just want to clean it up. They want history. They want history. They just don't want the guilt. And they don't want us to connect that with, because I believe that they know reparation is a must. It is coming.
It is the one thing that they are going to avoid at all costs. Now, if you understand that, then you understand what the fight is really about. You will not, as long as they are in control, be receiving reparations. That is the thing that they will not allow to happen. They just won't. So what do we have to do? There is something to do if you understand what is it that stops them dead in their tracks when it comes to recognizing the contributions of Black or African or whatever you want to call yourselves. What is stopping? What is it? What is it? And why are we the whipping boy all over the world, right? Why are we at the bottom? But there's a reason. There's a reason. And a lot of it has to do with our history and what we were able to accomplish then. And it's our history and the reason they brought us over here in the first place, because they knew that history and they knew what we were capable of doing. So they have to make sure that they never, ever, ever have to admit what they already know. They can't say
I
it.
believe. No, and this is why they want to rewrite the crime. They want to erase it. So if they erase it, they don't have to admit to it.
That's true. And then they don't have to teach it. They don't have to, and they've been pretty successful at erasing our history and our understanding of how the world evolved. They've been really successful at that. I mean, I'm only just really getting into ancient history in Africa, on the African continent, rather. Only now.
I know, and it's so strange because if we really know the importance, and most of us, you find it very intriguing, very interesting. I do enjoy it. We got to start teaching this to our children much, much earlier.
So how do we do that though? We can't just say it. We have to actually develop a plan and begin doing it. I think
Well,
that if we wait another month, we're almost in the too late zone because things are rapidly changing right now, right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And at some point they're going to get a foothold that is going to be very, very hard to move them. And that's
See,
what I want.
I just don't know how come we're not really. We used to have Saturday schools. I do hear a lot of different communities started those back up. Sunday
Mhm.
school, if you're going to church, I mean, we need to be teaching our children something
Mhm.
else. Get these do these
Something else.
do these people see that our house is on fire, or is that just you and I? Do the people who have a little bit of power, who have um, our pastors, do they not see what's going on? What is about to happen? What are they doing?
Mhm.
Because
I don't
am I overreacting? Because
we should ask.
I'm always in the mode like, wow, I can see what is going to happen.
Yeah, we could ask them. We could say, tell us what you see and tell us from a spiritual or religious standpoint, what should Black people be doing right now? And how do you propose helping your voter, your church congregation to get themselves ready for this fight at the polls? What are the churches doing to address what is obviously going to be a problem come November 3rd?
And
And I
just
don't hear
moving
it,
forward.
no
And,
chatter, no chatter.
and when we're on Facebook, I see all these white preachers doing this, and I do know here in Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was last week, this week, the Baptist
Mm-hmm.
convention is going on here right now, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? You can't be talking about the Bible this much, this long. Are y'all planning? Are we strategizing? What are we doing to move our people, to help the people?
Yeah, I was talking to a brother earlier today at Million Cups, and he brought up in terms of assistance to the kind of work that I do, and he said, "You've got to approach the churches." And in my head, I said, "I'm not going to have that conversation right now," because he was really advocating for his church to do more with what we do, and that's great. But I didn't feel like having that conversation right now in terms of how the churches and maybe other organized groups are not meeting the moment. And we really have to figure out how to ignite something under their butts to, I can just go ignite something under their asses to absolutely begin moving this agenda. And you don't have to march in the streets, but there are clear things that if, for example, the Divine Nine all came together in one solid voice, yes, you do risk your funding from the government. You definitely risk the funding.
How much funding do they get from the government?
I have no idea, and that's something that certainly has to be looked up. But I
And
do believe,
what government give them money?
you're asking a question that I think
I wasn't aware that the government. Now I know our local government sometimes, city council, county commission gives them some money, but that's their people that they know, and those people, that could be easily pushed back. But I was thinking of something else when this is a little off topics, and then I get back on when Jamal Bryant, one of his demands was for Target to use a Black bank, invest their money in Black banks. I would submit to you, I would like to know how many Black churches put their money. You can't ask people to do stuff you're not even doing. So
okay.
I wonder, he, bank, do they church bank with a black church, a black bank?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all these
And
black, we got a lot of power right here with the churches. They have a lot of power,
we
and
do.
and they just won't use it.
But why not?
I don't know,
Well,
and I don't know
why
how
are
these
we
people just keep going
why are
Sunday
we not?
Sunday, going up into these churches, and you're getting the same damn thing over and over. You're not. I don't. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, why are we not shifting the message for the times that we're in? I don't know that Martin Luther King, at least that's not what's making history, that he went into the church and just talked Jesus. I think he was talking about really the human condition and and the social network and how we are not participating and just constantly pushing for that and really organizing. He was organizing the people and getting them to a different level of understanding, especially the young people, I would say. So, is any of that happening in our churches or in a church that of some kind of notoriety that would allow it to break through this wall of silence that I think we're experiencing? But I did look up. I said, "Hey, chat, tell me about does the Divine Nine receive government funding?" And the short answer is generally no, not directly. The National Pan-Hellenic Council, commonly known as the Divine Nine, is made up of historically Black fraternities and sororities that are private, nonprofit organizations. They are not government funded entities in the way public agencies or schools are. Here's how it actually works. No direct federal funding as organizations. The Divine Nine organizations themselves typically do not receive direct government appropriations. They operate primarily through membership dues, donations, fundraising, they do a lot of that, and private grants. Indirect or program-based funding can happen. Individual chapters or affiliated foundations may receive government grants for specific programs, such as voter education initiatives, health outreach, and I've seen that, HIV awareness, diabetes prevention, community development, or youth mentoring programs. And surely we've seen several of them do that.
Mhm, mhm. And I know that the, not federal, but locally, that city council, I don't know about city council, county commission, maybe city council too, but I do know county commission, every county commission have given, particularly all of them, 'cause they all get $1 million to give to their cause, right? A
Right.
year.
So the issue is they have to have a cause, and that cause has to be sort of fit into that category of what they will fund.
And they all fall somewhere. They're gonna do some type of program. You see it every year. Gwen gives to the AKA, but she gives to Delta. So she gives to, a little bit of to all of them. She do spread it around.
Mm-hmm.
So they got no worry from that. The problem is we're all just walking around as if, the world is going the way we want it to go and going the way that, that is going to work for their children. And the truth of the matter, it is not. It's just not.
Why are we not shaping what we want America to be? We can clearly see that America is in a fast decline. Trump has figured out what his exit will be. And that is when he walks away, he will walk away with billions on billions, he and his family. He will also walk away with some control over what happens in Gaza. And he's writing all of this into policy so that he cannot be removed. And if he is, he gets to determine who succeeds him. This is making absolutely no sense. He's also walking away from a prison term, perhaps. So if they could put that much planning, because what was it, Project 2025? I'm almost forgetting it because we haven't said it in such a long time. If they could put that much planning into the new America, and Trump's job was to put a wrecking ball to the country, and he has done that so superbly well. He is knocking down institutions. I feel some type of way. I feel like the institutions needed to be knocked down from a Black perspective. But if that is the case, there has to be a rebuilding. And it has to be such that Black people are not perpetually on the bottom. And do we have anybody that is going to speak for us? Who of us will rise? Is it Condoleezza Rice? Is it Hakeem Jeffries? Who will speak for us in the rubble of American, in the ashes of America's demise? There will definitely be ashes.
And it definitely can't be Hakeem Jeffrey, unfortunately. It just can't, because he doesn't speak for us now. He doesn't even speak for himself. We now understand that he is bought and paid for. So and it's crazy to say, but I would take Condoleezza Rice over him.
Condoleezza Rice, I understand why you would say that, especially you, but I would definitely take, she has a spine, but she speaks in a way that certainly isn't aligned with me. And I don't feel it. She is what, ADOS? Right?
Yeah, she's ADOS.
And she's very, very smart, sharp, and decisive. But when I've listened to some of her lectures in the past, oh, Condoleezza, it's so bad. It's too bad that we are not aligned. Daryl Heish, hey Daryl, did you see that they burned all those books at New College? Oh my God, New College is gone.
Yes,
New
it was.
College
It was supposed.
gone.
It was supposed to be just a white nationalist Christian school from the beginning.
And then all the gays and the free spirits went to that. I even coached some kids that chose that as their college, and they were, off the beaten path. But it was in an artsy kind of climate over there in Sarasota. So I'm sorry, threw them away. Yeah.
And this is just the evenness of these people that they have to, and I don't understand why. You remember during the Dark Ages when they came out and burnt all the things, shut everything down, no books and everything, and we got the Bible. People are always going to evolve. The truth will always find itself rising.
I agree.
Up.
I agree.
And they're so freaking stupid. I'm talking about white people now because they're just freaking, they dumb. Why would they keep having these fights that their children and their grandchildren will have to fight? It ain't going to be really them. And they could see it now. And it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, I'm kind of reading some comments, but you're absolutely right. It is going to get worse. And it's why by the way, Daryl, we complimented you on your live today, your drive live, your drive live. And that was some pretty straightforward, powerful stuff. I appreciated it. It's the kind of thing that we need more.
He's always dropping nuggets. He's always dropping them. Yeah. I have to get him.
He dropped it and slammed it on their heads, white women. How you gonna go home? How you gonna go home and not have the kind of pillow talk that actually helps the cause, helps your cause? And so, I thought it was just right on point. And I
Well,
think we need to hear so much more.
the same thing the
From
same
more
thing that they have never spoken up to their
people.
men.
Yeah. I think we need to hear more and more from us. We have to stop being sort of afraid, and back to McKinsey versus Pearson in terms of how they approach the same issue. One was straightforward, in your face, these are the facts. The other was, these are the facts, but you know what? You're okay and I love you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I want you to know I love you, but I'm about to say something, but don't worry, I still love you.
Don't get offended. And look, it's neither. We don't have to love. She's doing her job. Now you have to do your job. If she puts you on the defense, then you got to defend. You can't go
Yeah.
and say, Israel Durn show saying I'm not finna. Okay, now I'm about to blow you guys up. No, they're in a war. He's just gonna blow
Yeah.
them up.
So Daryl did a clarification for me, because I kind of read it and I was like, what are we talking about here? But he says, because legally, and he's talking about the church, they cannot. Remember, the church is established by the Catholic See, Catholic See, and as a result, they have to abide by the various canons that regulate the church. And then we can apply for federal grants. And he says, I'm talking about the church. I would like to say the Trump administration, the Supreme Court, the Congress are blowing up all the norms. They're blowing everything up.
Mm-hmm.
All the institutions are being blown to smithereens. Democrats get in, and if Democrats say, no, we got to fix it, we got to put it all back together, Humpty Dumpty, we got to put it all back together, that is not a position Black people should take.
No.
It's just plain and simple. Churches, all of it, it is not a position that we need to take. We need to be able to reimagine democracy. It was supposed to be something, all men are created equal. It was never all men are created equal. So how do we get to a place of all men being created equal, where we are holding each other, especially those in the highest ranks, accountable, and that they don't get this special dispensation for all the, shit that they pull?
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, I can see us right now, because we're probably going to win the midterms. We should win the next president election. I don't see anything changing significantly for us,
Right.
because we're really not holding them or suggesting or demanding what it
Yeah.
is we want.
Right. We're not.
Well, that's the end on our part, and we're getting ready to watch them rewrite the past. And in the next segment, we're going to show how the same system treat Black people in the present, especially when they step into power.
Mm,
Can you
yeah.
can you play the Manny Willis clip?
Yeah, I can. Let me. hold what I'm trying to do, it is playing over on my other station, and I'm like, why are you not stopping? Okay, so I'm gonna pull it up. Someday we're gonna have somebody who's actually doing this, and they're gonna
Yeah.
see us come up. They're gonna
Yeah,
read
have moderators.
the moderator. Yeah, my computer is being weird. This little cheapo Apple. I'm just kidding. You ever get a new computer?
No, actually, this one is old. I mean, very old. Probably since
Yeah, I remember you had that. So bear with me
2016.
because it's not allowing me to pull in.
Well, tell us about it.
Oh, like hitting. So Fonnie Willis is being sued by the defendants. Wait. Invite guests. Share screen. Look at that. Dang. It's being sued by the defendants. Here we go. Judge rules. Share. You see it? Please tell me you see
It's
it.
coming. Yes.
Trump and 13 other of his co-defendants from the 19 RICO case defendant that Fonnie Willis bought in 2023 are now trying to sue under a new Georgia law to recover $17 million in damages and legal fees that they claim that Fonnie Willis's office of Fulton County should be responsible for. You may recall the mountain of evidence that her office had when they indicted Trump and 18 other people under a RICO law with regard to interference in the 2020 election. Willis was later removed from that case and disqualified and replaced by a pro-Trump attorney who ultimately dismissed the case in its entirety. The case was never taken to trial on its merits, and Donald Trump was not actually acquitted. The case was simply dismissed. Under a new law in Georgia, when a prosecutor is disqualified from a case, the defendant in that case is able to sue in order to recover damages. This actual new law was written and passed with Fonnie Willis and Donald Trump in mind, given the state legislature in Georgia. Putting that aside for a moment, the judge in this case has now ruled out Fonnie Willis from even being able to come back into the case so that she can fight in defense of her office's budget. We're not talking about the DOJ. We're not even talking about the state of Georgia. $17 million to a local prosecutor's office is more than enough to really flatten their entire budget. And that's a serious thing. But now the judge in this case says that Fonnie Willis has no place being able to argue it herself. So she can't get back in. Speaking as a former prosecutor, this is exactly what it looks like to have a two-tiered system of justice. Most people, if they are defendants in the case, can only hope that they will either be acquitted or their case will be dismissed. They don't feel entitled to millions of dollars in a judgment because someone was disqualified.
That's where I stop it. And that's where I say the difference. And that's where I say I love the sister. But when we get those positions, we have to now start trying to fight to change the system that we know isn't working for us.
I don't understand.
Until it hit her, you know, what he was saying is we have a two-tier system. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. And now I understand that we even have a 3-tier because you can't touch these 1% over here. The people in the Epstein files, I don't think
Epstein class.
I don't think anything is ever going to happen to them.
That is likely true. That is likely true. But if you put Black people in charge, I mean real Black, I don't mean fake Black people. There's real Black people and then there's fake Black people. You put them in charge, you got that, but you're not going to get that. Because we as a Black race haven't figured out how to embrace a Fonnie Lewis. You said, Fonnie Lewis, I love her, but it's like, why did you say I love her? Just say it. So whatever your issue is with her, just say it.
True. And I was going to say that I do, but It's no but. But when she was on trial and all of that, we did see how many people who was going against her that looked like you and I.
Yeah.
And that I do have a problem with that for whatever. Even the what's the woman in New York that Trump is going
Tish James.
Tish James, right? So she did do something that probably no white woman could have done.
Would have
against-
no
Went-
black, no white woman, no white woman, no white man would have done. They know to stand down to the Epstein class. They just know, don't cross them. You'll lose your livelihood. You might even lose your life.
Lose your life.
Know that, but they also know the Epstein class. Black people don't know those rules. That's why you had Calvin, I forgot his last name, Willis, I think. No, that's Fonnie Willis. The black AG. You had him, you had Fonnie Willis, you had the judge over there in DC, you had Tish James, you had black folks standing up to Trump in different states. You didn't have white people doing that except Jack Smith.
And he half-assed it, and he dropped the ball, and this is why we're where we at today.
How did he drop the ball? I think Merrick Garland dropped the ball.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, Merrick dropped the ball. And I don't know. Well, why did you say he dropped the ball?
I don't know. One of them did.
Merrick Garland definitely dropped the ball.
Okay.
And he hired him way too late. Way too late. And again, they're playing chess.
Sure.
They're truly playing chess. They're making moves and saying, okay, they're going to do this and we're going to do this. And that's why that Judge Cannon was hired. As incompetent as she was, the fact that he's the one that appointed her, Trump, and they play in our faces. They play in our faces and we let them. And when I say we let them, I don't necessarily mean black folks. White people let them because they kind of feel like either way it falls, I could be okay. All I got to do is be white and play the game, right? Because that is how they survive. That is how they allow us to stay at the bottom. Because if they play the game and they look like they don't like us, they can be safe over there. But as soon as they step out, ask some of the white folks who did step out to support black folks, they're dead. And they were examples, just like Fonnie Willis is an example for all of us. Step out. Yeah, she's an example. They're making an example of Fonnie Willis.
So, black women's, we could have they could do a double standard. Respectability, politics, likes, we're expected to carry power. She could do that, but not be wagging it and welling it. It was a problem. She became a problem for them. She wouldn't back down. And now this, like the guy said, a two-tier system where they're going to even change the law,
right?
To bankrupt the.
They did that.
Yes, to bankrupt the her section.
The town. Yeah, right. So they're playing a game where they're changing the rules in the middle of the game, and we're letting them.
Right.
I don't understand how we don't see they're playing a game, literally changing the rules right in our faces, and we're saying, oh, you know what, that's not fair, and they just trot on down with billions, right? 17 million in this case. It makes no sense.
And you have to ask yourself, as ADOS, what does this mean? When we see how harsh this criminal justice system been, I say, I look at, we've been seeing all the pedophiles, men's getting arrested, 3 and 4, 5, 6, hundreds of them a day, right? And they
Right.
going to jail. And I was like, well, I'm playing devil advocacy here because I said, if I was one, I would be protest. I'm not going to jail to Trump go to jail. I'm not going to jail to the people on the Epstein Isle go to jail. Why should I have to go to jail? Why can you do it?
Not going to work because your name is Mona Judge and you're black.
Yes,
gonna
but
work.
I'm saying this for the white people, poor white people. They too now saying it's a two-tier system, right? Because they could see, they know what's in the Epstein files, and all these white men who get arrested every day. I mean, and they throw on the book at them, they go into jail, and you're okay to go to jail, and your leader isn't going to jail, and he's doing the same thing you did.
It's kind of funny. I think they are okay with that.
Yeah, okay.
I think they do see them as these. They have this infatuation, this fantasy about the white elite. You know, that they too could be that someday. They're like this deity, and I think that they do see that they can. A lot of the, excuse me, as you called them in the last show, a lot of them dumb ones, they do see him in a light that is just strictly crazy. And some of the black ones too. I know I talked to some. It's crazy. He can do no wrong. He could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and literally with it.
And
he did
not
that
go to
first election.
And he said not go to jail, and literally,
Yeah, totally.
he obviously can.
He can.
Yeah.
And they will let him. Then the Supreme Court pretty much said, oh yeah, you know, as long as you can show us it was in the line of duty. It had to do with the job. And so how do you trust not so much a system? The system is being eroded, it's being torn down. We know that the system is being torn down, period. Maybe you have to live by it at this point, but at some point, the system is going to be totally torn down. And we are going to have to figure out, dear Black people, where are we on the totem pole? Where do we stand? What's important to us? And do we just look at these shores or do we join the larger diaspora? And I know that's a big, big question out there amongst Black people in America. But I think two things can be true at the same time. And this is one of them, where you belong to. Yeah.
And I think we do have to join the larger group. We can have subgroups, but still the family as a whole.
And that's how I feel about it even here.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the only way it's going to work. And as this has been torn down, and it is time to rebuild, we have to make sure we have the right people representing us.
Yeah, but nobody knows what that right people is, because when Jasmine Crockett come out with all of that education and experience, and she starts doing the shenanigans, many of us just moves her off to the side. But she might be the right people for such a time as this. When Fonnie Willis sits back there and says, this is a joke, and she just does that, her own type of shenanigans, we get mad at Fannie Lewis, but she's got a background that's impeccable with regard to the law, and she's not afraid. One of the big keys is Black women, Tish James, are not afraid. They're just not afraid. And they have their own style. And it's not
like Stephen A. Smith. That's the guy name.
Stephen switches. he blows with the wind.
Of course he does. he couldn't represent us. Would we like a Jeffrey in there? No. None of these people. I would like even a Stacey Abrams. I would like Fannie Willis, Jasmine Crockett, and Letitia James.
Yeah, but you got to
These-
stop, not you per se,
these-
but you got to stop criticizing them and saying, well, you should have done this and you should have, you don't know what they should have done.
You can get some criticism. You can't go, you're not perfect. You can get some criticism.
Yeah, but
it doesn't. But it
But
doesn't
what we're
mean
criticizing
that
them
we
for
we
is
don't
style.
support you.
What we're criticizing them for is style.
No,
Who
not this style.
who on that side, on the other side, criticized Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Nobody. I've always said that.
All they know is she was getting them the results that they were looking for. Trump was embracing her for that abrasiveness, and everybody said, "Yay, we love
But
you,
on
we
the
love
Republican
you."
side, what they will do, and what I've learned from hers, they will use you. She was a tool they needed to use, but they didn't have to get their hands dirty. And when they got tired of her, they discarded her.
You ever
As
play
the
chess?
poor white trash that they thought she was.
You ever play chess? Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Right?
Yeah.
I used to,
And
when I
so-
didn't really understand, it was like, you're gonna lose, but you're using that bishop to do what, and bye-bye, because you've got some other plan and you're using that to get to where you need to go to. And I think that is where we fail as a people. We're so caught up on style that we're missing the substance, and that style that we seek is very Western, and it's designed to cause us to go after our own, because when we rise in power in our own aura, in our own stuff, okay, I'm going to go with that word again. When we rise in power in our own shit, that scares them. So they
you're gonna
got
give us hold on. You're gonna give us a warning when you going with those words?
Okay, I won't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you the story. So I sent one of the boys to go to the door of one of the other boys that I was picking up. And this is Malachi kid that I talk about. And he said,
I gotta meet here. I know that I'm gonna love him.
he's such a great kid. He is such a great kid. So he goes to the door, he knocks on the door, and he turns around and he looks at me. And then he comes back and he says, he said, "Oh shit." And I said, he said, "What are you gonna do?" So he goes, "What are you gonna do?" And I said, "Malachi, get in the car." I said he was likely asleep and he realized we were here, and that was a problem because he knows that I have to be at a certain place at a certain time. So what we're going to do is we're going to drive over to the school. We're going to make sure other people know we're here, and we're going to put whoever in what cars, and then we're going to come back and pick him up.
Right.
And then later, before I dropped him off, he says, "You remember I told you?" He said, "Oh shit." I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" And I said, "Malachi, that boy was in his house. You were on the other side of that door and you decided to share that with me. And I decided that boy was in his house with his mama and his daddy. That is not my issue. If he's in my car and he says it, yeah, that's a problem. But in his house." But, I'm not one for swearing unless I feel like it's going to absolutely make the point. So, because stuff doesn't really, who cares? But they don't want us to get in our own shit, because it definitely will overpower theirs. So they have to make us afraid of ourselves, our own greatness, our own audacity to actually lead in a way that will overtake them. I truly believe that's where we're at.
Absolutely. And the fight that we sit around sometimes and accept most of the time what is being dished out to us. I
Mhm.
think about when Israel striked Iran
Mhm.
and him and Trump, it's like, well, why are they striking back? Like, what the
I
fuck?
know, right?
You're gonna strike us? We're in a war now. We're in a fight, and we
Mhm.
don't seem like we understand that we are in a fight.
We, I know.
We're just
It's
wearing
really not a war. Well, his administration were confused on it for a while, but you
yeah,
are
because they
so
said
right.
they were gonna go over there and bitch slap them and say, "I'm gonna do this, this, this." Now y'all get in line, and our brother said, you might can
Yeah,
do that somewhere else, but
absolutely. Absolutely right. That's absolutely right. He just like, what are they doing? They're retaliating. But I'm the
yeah,
greatest. I'm the white
yes,
supremacist. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to hit me back. Right? We
and then
don't hit
Israel,
back. But take it
like
back to us. Take it back to us. We don't hit back. And when one of us chooses to hit back, we get mad at the person who hit
who hit
back,
back, yes,
because they come back at that person in a very fierce way. And we're like, she shouldn't have done that, or he shouldn't
started
have
it,
done that.
yes.
He
But you know what we
exactly.
do? You know what we do? What I don't like? We tear each other down before we tear the oppressor down.
That's true.
We'll forgive the oppressor before we forgive each other.
And that, my friend, is conditioning. We have been conditioned to do exactly that. And that is the point I'm trying to
I mean,
make.
we haven't outgrown that because I have never been. I have more love for our people. Not that I don't have what respect for them, but
Mm-hmm.
it's no way I'm gonna love them more than us. No way I'm gonna love their children before we love our children. We've already had to do that. Our ancestors had to milk
You
their
keep,
babies
you keep
before
dropping those gems. You keep
before they
dropping.
milk. Well, no, our ancestors had to breastfeed their damn children
Yeah.
before they breastfed their own children.
Show
We don't
enough. Show
learn enough of that, and
did.
and I don't understand how we are continually we we
Condition.
can let somebody a white politician come in here and divide this community so quickly.
Yeah.
We could let a white man come in here and tell me something about you,
Yeah.
and I'll just believe it.
Yep. Yeah. And that's why over there in Africa, speaking of the need for a real relationship with the diaspora, with those separations, but still having that overall relationship. That's why Ibrahim Traoré is so dangerous,
Yes.
because the West, France, the United States are pissed. And if that happens here again, because we had Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey. Where did Marcus Garvey die? Not here, in somewhere else. Doesn't even matter. They get you wherever you are, however they're going to get you. And I don't know what he died of, but we had some great
Well,
leaders
I
that
don't
were
think
leading
I
the
don't think they
people.
killed Marcus Garvey, did they?
No,
No, he
I'm
died in
saying
the
no, but I
he
don't
died
know the story.
he
I don't
died
know
in
the
the
in what.
he died in the Bahamas, I think.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying though is, well, they got him out of the United States. I will say that
They did get him out of the United
they
States.
got
They
him out
did
because
they did
he
try
was
to crush
he was riling up the people. He was
yes.
riling the people. So, and they couldn't have that. They have to control our minds, and they
But how can
have to
we
control
continue to
our
be so
actions.
dumb and not follow? We've had, and if there is a such thing as, I don't want to say if there is a such thing as God, but we have had leaders, and you
Mhm.
choose not to follow them.
We choose not to
We
because
believe the white man because we believe the white man.
but you know, who was it? LBJ, and everybody keeps saying this. You train up the white brother to, hate. No, 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 no. give up
Convince
his
he's better than the poorest white man.
right.
Better
The
than
poorest
the
black
house.
man, yeah, right, right,
Better than
or the
house.
richest black man. So the conditioning that this country has done to black people, yes, but also white people, has been thorough, so thorough that it's hard to make this shift. And when I talk to people, including members of my family, and it seems like it's like, you didn't see that just happen? You didn't see that text? What are you talking about, right? It's clear to me that the conditioning is so deep. It's so deep. And it's not that maybe she's extreme, but even when you talk to people who are not extreme, who are just moseying along because they're so comfortable, it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. How do you move either of them?
But how could we be so, I don't want to say offended, I don't know the word I'm looking for, with someone like, let's say, Jasmine Crockett. And I'll go back to Stephen A. Smith. I don't think I ever heard him say one thing against Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That would be true. I listened to him as well.
And so I just get the highlights. But do he think that one have the right to be whatever she wants, but the other one has to fit inside of a box?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't ever, and I'm going to do some research, I'm going to write it down when we get out.
You know, does he think? And that's the question for me. And he's only into dollars and cents, and he knows that the dollars are coming from the other side, not from you and people that look like you.
So
That's
people
not
like that who are in place, and like I'm now looking at some of Candace Owens' videos, but I would never accept her back into our culture because
she does not get to come to the barbecue.
Because you got paid to shit on black people.
That's right.
Your job was just to tear down black people, and I don't want to believe that about the sports guy.
The sports guy, Shedeur Sanders. What?
No,
sports actor, what?
Stephen Smith.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to, because all I see him do is tear down black people.
Because that pays.
So I get that.
Black brother or sister focuses on tearing down black people, even though the white people are obviously doing some really stupid stuff.
Yes.
He's being paid. He's getting bank on that.
So for that alone, because I just heard him say something about the president candidate Kamala Harris. If I hear her say one more time, I told you so. So he doesn't like the fact when she goes around and she says, well, you got what you wanted, but I told you this what was going to happen. That's a trigger for him. And the way he said it, and I was just going through something, and I was like, well, damn, you're going to blow a fuse over that? Why?
Yeah, but it's a trigger for him because listen to the sound, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
All right.
That's all it is. For
and
Stephen
so we have to call these people out, and then every black person has to boycott these kind of Negroes. And we can't be in a fight with people like that.
Right, but what if we ignored a Stephen A. Smith and we cheered on, put money behind a Jasmine Crockett or Fani Willis or somebody who's out there that's ready to confront the issues? And if they can get a white coalition who likes the fight, and even Jasmine's been able to do that, I think we have to be more authentic in who we are as a people, which means we take away some of these westernized biblical based ways of being, sort of docile, sort of, all of that stuff we got out of the Bible, do unto others as they will do unto you. You slap them down kind of thing if they're in your way. And they were ready to do that. But then we think, oh, that's so unladylike, or that's so whatever like. And that's a problem. That's a problem for why we in the new iteration of America will not rise above bottom rung of the tier. We just won't. We'll have athletes still and entertainers, and every once in a while you'll see somebody in the financial world, and they will be more or less playing the game, their game, and it won't be authentic themselves. You go out and see Black Africans who are at the top tier of the richest men in the world. They're playing their own game. We don't play our own game. We play their game when we're able to get up there. I don't know about Robert Smith, who the guy who wrote the check for the Morehouse graduates.
Yeah.
Impressive, but I don't follow him enough to know how he is able to manage that.
What he's doing.
Yep.
So what do you think about Oprah?
Long time ago, I thought Oprah played too much to white middle class groupie women. Yeah, but that was a long time ago. I just felt that that's what she realized the formula, and she took it all the way to the bank. And at the time, it was like, oh wow, this is not like, she's not talking to us. She's really not talking to us. She'll like look at us, do whatever, and have somebody on, and then there's Gail and blah blah blah. But she was not really, we were not necessarily her audience. And I don't think we understood that. We pretend like we are something that is not a reality. And even Oprah knew that we thought we were her audience, but we weren't. Hakeem knows that we thought we were. He was our guy in the house, but he isn't. And it goes on and on. The list goes on in terms of what we think Barack Obama is ours, and it really isn't.
Right. So, and that's a good point to stop on. We're gonna do a show next week, maybe next week or the week after, really pulling these people and AIPAC in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, I need to get some in here though.
One person that I really, Bakari Sellers, I really thought I liked him.
Yeah, I was like, what about Bakari?
Oh my God, he's so bought up in AIPAC. He cannot. I got to do some more research.
Oh wow, really?
Yes, wow, it's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. So
yeah, that is disappointing.
A fighter, and then James Claiborne decided that
oh yeah, you saw that.
He's gonna run again. I was like, dude, isn't he almost 90 years old? How old is he?
I thought he was 83, but I don't know. Maybe. I think he was only 79, 80. Huh?
No, he's older than 83. He got to be he got to be past 85.
I don't think he's older than Nancy Pelosi.
How old is Nancy?
I thought she was 87 or something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
They're about the same. That's why I say he's about 90. He could be 86, 87 years old.
Yes. Clyburn.
Yeah, he's about 80 something like that. And even look at Nancy Pelosi. Nobody says anything the way she governs, do they?
All right, so James Clyburn is 85, as is Nancy Pelosi. You were
Okay.
right on that they were the same age.
Yeah, I know they were the same age because they came almost in together.
Well, Roland Martin said that Clyburn should be able to run because as long as he's not having mental issues or synapses and he is able to get around and move, and he's going to all of these commemorations for the civil rights, crossing the, walking across the bridge.
I don't have a problem with him running, but I have
And
a
he has,
problem
he
with
has a
people.
clear thought. He has a clear thought process, clearer than mine.
I have a problem with the people in this. Is what I'm saying. We're so dumb. How in the hell are we keep electing this man and he lives in one of the poorest districts? Of course, all of where you see black candidates, their districts are the poorest, right?
Yeah.
And the power that he claims he have, but we see no evidence in his district.
Yeah, I'm not sure if his district. Yes, it's such a safe district. He can do exactly what he's doing.
And
But
Kari Sellers, he was going to run. He keep waiting, and I was like, stop being a punk and just run against it. But I'm sure he's not. But it doesn't matter because now both of you guys are compromised
because of
APAC.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We do need to get the APAC list out and maybe whatever
have
and whatever we're using to kind of circumvent, we need to figure out that.
Has been mentoring this guy from college. They got him right out of college.
Got who? Bakari?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get a lot of them out of college. They get some of them out of high school.
Yeah.
It's just a sin and a shame, my grandmother would say.
Yeah.
Sin and a shame. I heard some young person say that, and I was like, how are you saying it's a sin and a shame? Oh, you know who said it? Nina Turner. No, not Nina Turner. What's her name? Nina.
Yeah.
Is it Nina Turner?
Yeah, the congresswoman.
Yeah. She said it. And I was like, you said it's a sin.
That might be a northern thing because I've never heard that.
No way. My grandmother used to say that all the time. So we say it, when telling us, we just say, girl, that's a sin and a shame.
Yeah, I don't think I ever heard that one.
No, my grandmother was not northern. She's definitely southern. So I don't know. It sounds more southern to me. But yeah, she said that.
A sin and a shame.
Yeah. As we close out, and I love it when we close out at around 50.
Mm-hmm.
That works out well, and I don't have to panic. Because when I thought I closed it out, it didn't, because it does take about 2 minutes to get us completely out when we hit that thing. So crazy.
So we are doing some things where we could stay on track. And,
I like this. I like what you're doing. I do like what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're moderating us.
Yes.
Not I can do that, but you're moderating us, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go and close it out.
All right.
And bring it home for us tonight.
You're bringing it home?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Rewriting history avoids accountability, attacks Black power, maintain control, and one who controlled the past, the other one controlled the present. So we got to be laser focused, particularly in the red states. Here in Texas, here in Florida, Texas, everywhere where they want to rewrite our history,
Mhm.
we have to make sure we have someone at these school boards saying, mm-mm, we can't have that. When they wanted these books out of commission, I think it took them about 4 years to get to where they're at now.
Mhm.
And they're there because they stayed consistent.
Yeah, they are extremely consistent.
I
They're
remember,
like-minded anti-black.
yes, yes. I remember when Moms for Liberty was first coming on board. Now, we know they're all nuts. They're nuts. Particularly, we know they all have no morals. And I won't say all. I don't want to say all, but the majority. We know who these people are because they start exposing themselves. Yes. All kind of sex crime coming up.
Yeah.
But these are the people who want to dictate to the masses of how to live. If you're going to tell me something, then you have to be able to show me how you have done it for me to follow you.
Yeah.
That's my closing tonight.
But not happening. Can I just want to bring up this. I was going to bring it up, and it's a comment from Lynette regarding Brett Favre. And I remember when I was in school, this was actually in a lot of literature. We studied this. We talked about it ad nauseum. But she's right. It didn't catch up. It wasn't a public outcry, because when their heroes are under attack for doing wrong, because he took that money from the poor people and gave it to his daughter's college for a volleyball stadium, I guess. And they got caught. But Brett Favre, just a slap on the hand. It was big news, but it didn't really resonate with.
I've never heard of it. Who is Brett Favre?
Resonate with white people. Now, you let a Shedeur Sanders get out there, or even a Deion Sanders get out there and do something. Deion Sanders, let's make.
You'd be the worst person. You'd be the worst person. This is who they are.
The jail.
This is who they are. Yes.
So we have, to your point in your closing, and I'll close with this. We have a system in place where they will do whatever they want, but as soon as you do it, you are canonized for it. So it's hard for you to say, don't come after me if you can't show me where you are walking the straight and narrow, so to speak, because they do not walk this. Even your peers get off on things that you don't. So they don't. And it's been that way in this country for as long as it has been here.
And that is why we allow them to tell us who we are, because we know who we are. And we also know who you are.
Yeah. So, folks, I'm going to say, one of my employees said to me, because I screwed up in my speech today, and she just looked and she said, just breathe afterward. But I was like pissed. Just breathe. And then last night she was having some issues because she lost her keys or whatever. And I said, just breathe. And she gave it back to me in spades today. So, folks, just breathe.
Just breathe.
And when you do that, you can really see your way clear in terms of the direction you should take. But I guarantee you, what you've done in the past will not work in the future. And we have to find a way forward that works for Black people. And if it works for everybody by extension, okay, great. But we're not going to focus on you. We're going to focus on us. So that's all I have.
So good night. And a family, if you're in Tampa, don't forget we're celebrating the Queen, Connie Burton's birthday tomorrow at 8 o'clock
Oh
at
my God.
venue 2016 on Main
You know,
Street.
where? I thought when is Deming's coming?
It'll be tomorrow at the same location, but his is from 6 to 8. We start at 8. So it's going to be a long night for me.
Because I got to be there all that time. I'm not staying long. I'm going to come toward the end of his and the beginning of hers, and then I got to go home and get some sleep.
Yeah, you don't have. Yeah, I'm coming to the end of his. Well, we have to set up and everything, but yeah, come out and have a drink, have a toast with the Queen, Connie Burton, at venue 2016 on Main
2106.
Street.
2106.
Is it? Oh, it's 2106. Okay.
Yep.
2106.
All right.
Yes.
You good. Ciao.
All right. Ciao.